Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and I go by the HedonistSeller on all platforms, which will be linked down below. Today's video is going to be my sales from December 11th to December 31st. So my last sales from 2022. Yeah, that's right. So happy new year to everyone. It is now 2023. I'm recording this on January 1st in the morning. So I hope everyone had a great New Year's Eve. I was in bed by 10. Yay for how life changes when you're in your 30s and have a child. But I hope everyone else did something a little more fun. All right. So I'm going to just show my numbers as I have normally done and then go over a few sales from eBay and Mercari and Poshmark. Just ones that I think will be good information for you. I did this time leave out a lot of my liquidation sales just because it was a lot of coats. If you know, you've been watching me for a while, you know that I got a 200 coat liquidation, which I can link the videos above if you missed those. But I've been listing all of those, trying to list all of them by the end of the year. So I have sold a lot of them. So it's a lot of coats. So I decided not to include all of those because it'd be pretty repetitive. Well, let's go ahead and start with the numbers. Right here we have Poshmark. My gross sales for Poshmark were $1,696. My net sales, which is just after any shipping discount and Poshmark fees, is $1,337.27. This was for 30 items with an average sale price of $56.53. This average sales price pretty much reflects the whole coat sales because coats are substantial, so you can sell them for a lot more. I did want to say for Poshmark, my closet was closed from like this 20th to the 24th or 25th because I was out of town for the holidays. So I didn't make quite a few sales, and I didn't make any sales in that period on Poshmark. I only made a few on eBay because I changed my handling time. Okay, moving on to eBay. It was pretty close to Poshmark this time, but I did, leave eBay open during the period. I just change my handling time on my items, which is how I do things. Because, even if you put your your store on vacation mode in eBay, people can still purchase things and your handling time will still be the same. It just kind of puts a warning on your store that you're in vacation mode. You really need to change the handling time, or, your tracking will be updated late and you could get deficient on eBay. All right, so my gross sales for eBay, so this is with shipping. That's why it was close to Poshmark. When I look at my numbers on eBay, it shows, since I charge my buyer shipping, it does the price they paid and add shipping. So this is $1,509.61. That's why there's a pretty large jump down to net sales, because that takes out the shipping and the fees from eBay. So you go down to $1,027.67, and that's because all that shipping money is taken out. I sold 21 items on eBay, so my average sales price is a little inflated because it's going off of the gross sales, which, like I said, have the shipping fees in it. So this says $71.89, but I'm pretty sure it's closer to the same as Poshmark. I don't think it's really that high. Mercari, I've only had 2 sales. I'm trying to decide what to do with Mercari, and I can talk a little bit more about that when I get to the sales, because I'm not sure if I'm going to continue taking the time to, cross-post everything to Mercari. Okay. So I only sold 2 items on Mercari for a total of $62. And after taking out fees, that's $49.60 with an average sales price of $31. All right, so my total for all 3 platforms was $3,267.61. taking out all the fees and the shipping discounts, we have $2,414.54, 53 items for an average sale price of $53.14. Okay, so I do like to do a little more in depth on my numbers. So right here, you're going to see an approximate cost of goods for $625.40. I don't do this exactly by pulling my numbers, but this gives you a little bit of an idea. That means after taking this out of my net sales, that I'm left over with $1,789.14. So this is what I could consider my profit, but then you need to take out taxes, which I take out 30% just to be on the safe side, which means my actual take-home pay for this period of time from reselling was $1,252.40. I like to put this just to give you a real idea of what kind of money people will be making based on, if they're making a similar sales as me. I mean, because this is quite a difference between this, what you think your sales are, down to what you're actually making. And this is approximate because it's not my real cost of goods or my actual equal cost of goods or the taxes that I'll end up paying, but it's pretty close. All right, now I'm going to move on to my sales. Like I said, I'm skipping a few sales because they were the codes and other liquidation. I will leave timestamps below so you guys can skip if you're not interested in eBay or Mercari but want to see Poshmark or vice versa. All right, so right here you can see all of my sales on eBay. And like I said, I won't be talking all about them because see, you have here a coat, a coat. This was included in coats, but it's a shirt, coat, and a coat. So yeah, lots of coats. So we're not going to go over all of those. Instead, we're going to show other items like this one, for example. This is a vintage wool skirt suit. I got this at, I wasn't at Goodwill, it was a different thrift store, local thrift store. Ooh, these pictures are all like messed up. I think that's my computer, but these are older photos, so it could be. But anyway, so I did accept the best offer on this, and it was for, I think it was for $70 at the end of the day. It doesn't. When you see this crossed out money, like on people's solds, it means that they likely took a lower offer than what is shown right here. So that's when you look up comps, don't go by a number that has a line through it because that's not actually what they probably sold the item for. This took a while to sell. It took longer than I expected. I think it was due to the size, one, because it was quite small. It was a vintage too. But I'm pretty sure, I think I listed it as a extra small based on measurements. And it did have a slight hole, if I recall, in the wool. Maybe not. No, that's just showing you the zipper works. Oh, maybe it didn't have a hole. Yeah, it did. There it is. There's the hole. So it did have a slight hole in one of the sleeves. But I still sold it. It did take about a year, though. Ooh, my computer's going slow today. I'm sorry. Okay, next up is a Talbot sweater. I do pick up Talbots generally in bigger sizes. This is a small, but I picked this up because look how cute that is. That's cute. These little sheep, and it's a wool sweater, so it was pretty adorable. And the sheep are wearing wool sweaters. I did have this for longer than I thought, but it's probably due to the size. I did sell this for $38.01. That's a weird price. I think I lowered my prices by a percentage at one time. That's how that ended up. Right here you can see my shipping price. But yeah, that was really cute, and I hope somebody enjoys that. Okay, here we go. Next up is this Brandy Melville backpack. It was a vegan leather backpack. It was very lightweight. It really just had this one zipper compartment, and the rest, and the inside was just a whole just this empty space. I picked this up. I'm glad I picked it up, but now I'm like, I don't really know why I picked it up. I don't really pick up a lot of handbags, and I don't really pick up a lot of Brandy Melville, but I think I picked up another backpack at the same time thinking it would sell, and I still have it, and this one has sold. Anyway, it sold for $42.76. So I was really happy with that sale, and they left me a nice little review, so that was good. All right, see, you can see right here, somebody bought this when I had my handling time to 6 business days versus I usually have it on 1 business day. So anyway, but right here is just a pair of American Eagle overalls. I don't pick up all American Eagle, but these were a size 20, and I do like to pick up overalls. They just tend to do well for me, and I like these button front overalls. I did accept a best offer for $50 plus shipping, so I was really excited about that. This is kind of more of like a spring summer item, but I list my stuff all year round, and I've had this listed for about 2 months. Okay, next up is a bra sale. There's like a minute I was picking up bras because they were starting to have them out at our at our thrift stores more. They didn't used to have lingerie or whatever, intimates. Sorry, I had a sip of my coffee. It's early morning. But they have had stuff, and this was new with tags, so, and a good size. So I picked it up, probably paid about $1.50 or $2, and sold it for $20, I believe. And it took about 4 months to sell. I don't think this is a particularly great brand, but the size and new with tags is what made me pick it up. All right, so this sweater I picked up purely because it was 100% cashmere. I never really heard of the brand before, Duffy, but I believe it's sold at Nordstrom, it's a department store brand, but an expensive one. I've had this top listed for about a year, so it did take quite a while to sell, and it did sell to through the global shipping program. I'm not really sure where the buyer is, but I sold it for $48.59. Funny story about this one, though, is the buyer, prior to purchasing, messaged me asking me for very detailed measurements, just like the width of the arm and the length of the arm and the bottom measurement. I mean, just like all these kind of measurements. And I was, one, I think, out of town, and two, just it was like, people who ask all those kinds of measurements, I'm just like, I don't really know if I want to deal with that. So I just said, no, I'm sorry, I can't provide those at this time, I think I said. But they ended up purchasing it anyway. So, okay. And I'm not sure they'll be returning it because, returns through the global shipping program are pretty expensive. So, glad that did end up selling. I have another plaid piece right here. This is by Lauren Ralph Lauren. I do pick up Lauren Ralph Lauren, particularly if it's in, plus size, but this brand really does pretty well for me. So if it's in good condition and, a piece I think that will sell here, this was plaid, I will pick it up. And I think this ended up selling for $30. All right, moving on to Mercari. I only had 2 sales on Mercari. And what I was going to say about what I think I'm going to do for Mercari is to start putting my old inventory on here to try to sell. What gave me the idea is these 2 pieces that sold are quite older inventory items. I can tell this by I haven't used this brick background in a long time. So, or faux brick background. So I'm pretty sure this has been listed for 3 years. I picked this up because I'm pretty sure it was Hustle at Home Mom talked about this in one of her videos a long time ago, the vintage brand Lily Ann, that sold really well for her, and then I ended up finding it. did not sell really well for me. Like I said, I've had this for quite a few years. Probably was time for me to redonate it, but oh well, I didn't, and I sold it for $33. Same for this next piece. I don't know why Mercari cuts off images, but anyway, this is Crown and Ivy. If you didn't know, Crown and Ivy is kind of like a cheaper version of Lily Pulitzer. Sold at places like Belk's here in the South. I picked this up because I thought it was like a cute preppy coat. I don't normally pick up Crown and Ivy anymore unless it's new with tags or it's in a size large or larger. And you know, I've had this for quite a while. You see that faux brick background, but I did sell it for $29. All right. Now moving on to Poshmark. So as you can see, again, coat, coat. So I won't be going over all my sales. Another thing about this is I had my first and only live show at this point on the 11th, I think. So that was included, and that's what all this is. Like, this is where people bought. This is before you could bundle your items automatically. So I had to, like, you know, make bundles for people and then cancel their old orders, you know. So that's what this mess is. But we're not going to go over all of that. But I did have a live sale, and it was pretty, it went pretty well. It was mostly my Lululemon items that sold and just kind of some random other stuff I had. But I think if you're going to do live sales, you have to be pretty particular about the brands. Okay. Oh, I didn't click on these. Oops. Anyway, I was going to show these shoes because they did come in a recent ThredUp box. I did get a lot of these Geo shoes. Geox. I have no idea how you say this. I had never heard of this brand, but I kept getting them in ThredUp boxes. They're pretty expensive retail, but as you can see, they don't seem to sell for much. But, you know, just to show you, I did list a lot of those shoes, and some of them have started to sell. So I did sell these for $20 in about a month and a half. I should have made sure to click on all these. Sorry about that. Next up is this Eddie Bauer pullover sweater. It's got the snap buttons. I pick up these Eddie Bauer and the LLB ones that kind of remind me a little bit of Patagonia. I don't hardly ever find Patagonia, if ever. I don't think I've ever found a Cinchilla or anything like that, but I do pick these up since I do find these, and they do pretty well. This one was a 2X in men's, and it sold for $25, and it took about, I think, 3 months to sell. So I'm mentioning this Ted Baker swimsuit because, as I said earlier, I list all year round, and this sold on December 18th, a bathing suit. So, you know, if you have the items, and I mean, if you have a lot of items, I would list the seasonal items first, but, you know, if you have it, I'd go ahead and list it. I'm not one for saving things for later. All right, so this is from a recent haul. I can link it above, but I ended up picking up these Lane Bryant jeans, all in a size 22, but it was 12 pairs of them, so this is the first one to actually sell. And they sold for $20 in about a month. Hopefully the others sell as well. All right. So I wanted to mention this because I have had these Durango boots forever. I mean, a long time. Well, I mean, a year, year and a half. But I was just really surprised it took me so long to sell these. It might be because of this little chip here in the heel, but I still thought they were overall in a good condition. And, you know, in cute style. And Durango usually does well, but I don't know about these. They just took a long time. But I finally sold them for $66. Okay, so here's one of my favorite brands, and that is Soft Surroundings. I don't always pick it up, though. I just normally pick it up in, you know, size large and above, but I did pick this up in a medium because this is back when I thought like, oh, let's pick up all the jumpsuits. They're very trendy, which may be accurate, but I find people don't really buy jumpsuits since they're so size specific. So I've really stopped picking them up unless they're like in a really amazing brand or look cool. I don't know. But I hardly ever pick up jumpsuits anymore. But this did sell for $25 in about 6 months, I think. Here's another brand I like to pick up depending on the item. This was a wool blend dress with these faux leather pockets, and the brand is J. Crew. I did sell this for $30, and it took about 4 months. I don't pick up all J. Crew, but I do like to pick it up if it has like wool or cashmere or a cute print or a good side or new tags. All right, last item was actually a liquidation piece, but I wanted to show this just because it could be a brand to look out for. It's called Colt Gaia or Gay. I have no idea. But it is sold on places like Revolve. And as you can see here, on other dresses listed for this brand, it can go for a lot of money. So I don't think this is actually one. It just doesn't even have the thing. But yeah, so this took a little while to sell. I think I had it priced too high at first. Like this person has it priced at $500, $415. I think that's high for this brand. I think this $222, $300 mark, like those are really what it sells for. But if you find it in a thrift store or a consignment store, based on these comps, it might be a good item to go ahead and pick up, even if it's priced a little high or priced up. All right, guys. Well, that is all my sales from December 11th to 31st. Like I said before, I hope you guys had a good New Year's Eve and you have a good sales day starting off in 2023. Otherwise, please go ahead and subscribe if you hadn't and hit that like button if you like this video and you like seeing my sales. How was your sales the last little bit of December? I know it can be a little slower, especially in the pre-owned department of sales, but just let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, I hope you guys have had a good sales week, and I will see you next time. Bye.